Welcome to the race by race preview for a Group 1 day at Sha Tin on Sunday. Queen's Silver Jubilee. Paul Lally here with all of the selections, and we race on the C course, the first getting underway at 1 o'clock. It's a Class 5 over the 1800 metres, and we've got Splendid Star and Horse of Good Luck both on the class drop. Nebula, 7-day backup for him. Leather Master, first start since October for him. Further down, Green Laser, he ran third course and distance 2 starts ago. And Star of Glory from barrier number 1, coming off a placing behind Little Fairy last time. His Joyful Champion is right down the bottom for Sha Tin and Michael Cheng. On to the speed map here, Paul, and Horse of Good Luck and Fast Pass noted go forward horses.
Yeah, along with Star of Glory, who's drawn the inside, so he might even be an alternative leader, but Horse of Good Luck from his wide draws, a long run to the first bend, 1800 metres, he should be able to get there. Could be tricky for Joyful Champion from his wide draw.
First replay is just from last Sunday. Nebula running second on the all-weather, so quick turnaround for him. Gets a £5 claim this week with Angus Chung on board for Pierrong.
Prefer him on the all-weather, this horse. Now 1800 metres here on the turf. He has been placed over the distance, but look, he's running around nicely enough. He's on this quick backup. He's had plenty of runs this season. He's a very fit horse, and he's drawn nicely in 4. So he's going to get his chance, but he didn't go in for me.
Well, his best form at this stage is on the all-weather also. Charming Steed, who he just gets past there, finished down the track at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Speaking of Happy Valley, Happy Hero runs 10th in this race. Colourful Baron, he ends up running third, Paul, and he's probably the horse with the most consistent form in the opening race. Yeah,
so he comes in to the race. He has won over the distance before, Colourful Baron, but Happy Hero's 7 goes over the distance for nothing. So he doesn't go in, but did put Colourful Baron in there on a place line. Actually put him in as a Quinella horse. As you say, he's consistent, and Zach Purdon there from barrier number 9.
He's had 1 start for 1 win over the 1800 metres at Sha Tin. Our final replay is over the 1600 metres. There was money for Star of Glory in this race. He had to sit up outside the leader. Of the other, Smart Beauty runs on to run 4th.
I like the way Smart Beauty attacks the line here. Stepping up to 1800 metres is going to be ideal for him. He's looked at different horse with they've ridden him quiet. He gets back and he's got a really good turn of foot for this grade. So as such, I think he'll get the pace to suit. And I'm going to go with him. You can see him getting out a little bit late here, and he finishes off really strongly. Star of Glory didn't go too badly, and I didn't mind the way Dragon Pride hit the line there in that orange, and going up to 18 will suit him as well, and he's a well-rated horse at the moment.
All right, so that last replay, quite a good guide.
Yeah, I think so, and he goes in Smart Beauty on top here. I do like the fact that he's stepping up to 1800 metres. Colourful Baron, Splendid Star. Now he's coming back up to 1800 metres. He's back into Class 5, and this is where his wins have been. He's got a good draw. He should be a little bit handier. And Dragon Pride for 4th. 11, 6, 1 and 3.
So race 1, number 11, Smart Beauty for Paul to take the opener on Sunday. Race number 2 is our first venture to the straight for the first of a few times over the 1000 metres. Class 4 it is. The Great Master on the class drop has a hood going on. Metro Warriors placed the only time in this grade. Deep Pursuit was scratched when due to make his debut on the 13th of January, was fractious in the gates. Prosperous Mile has the cheek pieces off. Serving now with Chris So, blinkers off, tongue tie goes on. Lucky Symphony, Hood the Pacifier's first time. And Hell's Bells has had 4 trials in preparation for his first up run, and Douglas White has added a tongue tie to him, Paul.
The Great Master now, he's had a couple of trials, he's won them and he's led in those trials. He's drawn the outside fence, downgraded, I think he can go straight to the front. Prosperous Smile showing a bit of speed in his trials. Fun Elite is still a bit green, but I think he's got some speed. Metro Warrior, another one that we know has got speed, he can come across from his wide draw. Last start winner Panda, and Lucky Sympathy in there at next.
Bowser showed great improvement between his first 2 starts, and Tom spoke to his trainer, Ricky Yu.
Ricky, Bowser lining up again, showed dramatic improvement from start 1 to start 2. Your thoughts on the run?
Yes, he's improving, up and coming young horse, only 3. First start over 12, he was keen at the beginning, that's why he won't finish as much, but dropping back to 1000 because the pace is different, so he settled well and we'll be able to finish.
Was adding the tongue tie one of those keys to helping him settle?
Yes, the tongue tie helps him with more control. That the jockey said that it helps a lot.
What about coming into this weekend? How's he trained on since his last run? You think he's improved further?
Oh, he's kept improving. He had a trial before this run, and it's just get him settled, and it's more relaxed now.
You debuted him rather over 1,200 metres. You think he's a horse that'll get back to 12 and up a bit further in time?
He's a horse from 1,000 to 12, and maybe eventually up to 14. That's how I see him.
Quick comment on Voyage Bubble. Is it all steam ahead towards Dubai in a few weeks?
Everything's in place. I'm more than happy with him. Really looking forward to his up and coming preparation before he takes off to Dubai.
You've engaged Barcelona as well, a jockey that you've always had a lot of time for. What was the thought process around engaging Mikhail?
Yeah, he's a jockey that I prefer to put Voyage Bubble on, especially I suppose this jockey knows the track really well in Dubai. Yeah, he's a jockey that I would really like him the trial on.
When does he fly out to Dubai?
Horse is leaving on the 19th, early in the morning.
Ricky Yu there, talking all things from the Yu stable. We're going back to some of the other runners now in race number 2, Paul, starting with Fun Elite, who won on debut and was backed off the map. Then only Fairy's second start after missing the start. Better at Happy Valley last time. What about back to the 1,000 at Sha Tin?
Yeah, look, I think he coming back here. I mean, all 3 runs have been over 1,000. He showed he can run round a bend. So there is versatility there. Hugh Bowman will jump aboard from barrier number 4. Look, he's looked a little bit green in his runs, but there's plenty of ability there. So look, I'm going to put him in.
He goes in. There's 4 in this trial up at Chung Fa, with Hells, Bells and Prosperous Smile running 1 and 2. Cheerful World's on debut. Only had the 2 trials and draws barrier number 13 and Servan. He's been disappointing prior to his race day resumption this week.
Yeah, he raced in a Griffin race. Look, it's hard to tell from this, isn't it? They're all, this is more of a jump out. A few of them were pushed out a little bit here. Wasn't really taken with any of them really, but so none of them go in. But look, they do what they had to do, and they coming in here for the first time. You're a little bit wary of some of these horses.
Maybe not quite Sha Tin yet for those 2. However, the Great Master has had 3 trials. His last 2 have been very impressive. Yeah,
look, he's been well over 100 to 1 in all 3 of his runs so far, this horse. Now, he's been going straight to the front. Now, he did that in Australia before he got here, and he was hard to catch. When he's gone to the front, he's in all his trials, he's run well. In his race days, he's drawn wide his last couple, and he particularly hasn't. But, I mean, this trial doesn't look too bad. When you look at Beauty Eternal, Red Lion, Talent's Ambition, Giddy Up all in this trial, and look, he wasn't stopping.
Was not indeed. So are you going to take a chance on him down in Great?
Yeah, I'm looking for a long shot. I think he'll be a decent price. He's been well over 100 to 1 all 3 starts. Downgraded, we'll put him on top from barrier 14. Bowser, we heard from Ricky Yu there with Panda as well, so he goes in. So 1, 5 and 4, and Fun Elite in there for 4th. So 1, 5, 4 and 2.
The Great Master on the class drop, and with a £5 claim for Angus Chung to win the second at Sha Tin. Third race at Sha Tin is over the 1,200 metres and is a Class 3 event. Newcomer here, Hasten Delights, had 2 trials. 80 Light Years is in very good form. Northern Beaches has placed 4 from 6 course and distance. Pins Prince is a 2-time course and distance winner. He's a player, won over the 1,400 metres at the Sunshine Coast before arriving. He's now with Ricky Yu. Solid Impact draws nicely in 2. Sixth Generation has the blinkers going on and confirming Andrea Azzini will take the ride, and Lost Child comes back from the 1,400 to the 1,200 metres. Couple of newcomers here, Paul. One up outside the leader.
He's shown speed in both his trials here, and the blinkers are on him for his debut run, so expect him to be forward. I don't think he'll lead though with Campione in the race. He's drawn barrier number 3. 80 Light Years can get in behind the pace. Ace 1 goes forward. He just might be a little bit wide. Northern Beaches is another one drawn wide. He'll be looking for some cover. A Polar Warrior is another first starter, but he'll go back, I think.
80 light years is in our first replay. He had obviously a great off-season because he's had 5 starts this time in, yet to miss a top 3. Seems to get into this race quite nicely too, Paul, and with just 1 extra pound than what he carried when third behind the smart Kaying Rising.
This is a really strong form race with Kaying Rising in the race, Ladies' Choice on the inside. And he hit the front here and he looked the winner at about the 200 metre mark. He was pegged down late, ended up running third in this particular race. But the 3 of them were well clear. And look, he's gone, I think from barrier 8 he can go forward, he can get just in behind the pace, and he looks tough to beat for me.
That's a good report for what is going to be the likely favourite. Now, Hasten Delight comes here. He won numerous times in Australia, 1200 at Goulburn, Mawullumbar, Ipswich, and over the 1300 metres at Eagle Farm. Just the 2 trials for him, though.
Yeah, so 4 wins out of 5 in Australia. Blinkers on, tongue tie on, Hugh Bowman aboard from barrier 9. Francis Lloyd can get horses to go early. So, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he ran well, and both his trials have been good. So, look, I'm going to include him.
That's a tick for the first starter. He's going in the selections and back to the trials up at Chung Fa, but this time to the inside course. This is Northern Beaches, who was disappointing at Happy Valley last time. His recent form at Sha Tin's been over the 1,000.
Yeah, look, he hasn't won over the 1,200 metres at all. This horse, he's drawn wide in barrier number 10. So I think he's going to get a bit of a tough run. So I've left him out. I haven't got him in.
We'll save at Northern Beaches for another day. And that trial win was over Ariel, who ran second in it. That's a look at some of the runners in race number 3. Does 80 Light Years continue on his good form?
I think he does, Lady 80 Light Years. He comes out of strong form races. Should get a nice run just in behind. So he's on top. Fashion Legend, he caught the eye hitting the line strongly at his last start. Behind Gorgeous Win, Hasten Delight. And I'm going to put Lost Child in. This is the right distance for him. And he does hit the line strongly. 3, 5, 2 and 12.
As easy as race 3, number 3 for the first leg of the treble. Race number 4 is a Class 4 over the 1400 metres, and Seizing the Moment goes up in trip from running third over the 1200 last time. Dream Pursuer course and distance winner 2 starts ago. Another wide draw for Amazing Run. CP1 has his first start. He's had 7 trials. Silver Destiny 2 starts, and there's been a couple of lengths away in both of them. Ballistic winner wide draw. Amazing Teamwork comes back in distance, and Woodfire Champ when his best race last time when running 5th at Happy Valley. All Riches, Paul, there was plenty of money for him at his first up run too.
He ran well. He didn't really give it away. He ran 5th, so he can go forward. Aero Invincible drew 1 on his debut run. He's drawn 1 once again. He should get a nice run just in behind. Starline, Pat Your Watch. Now, Silver Destiny. If you're looking out for a grey horse, you'll be in trouble because Silver Destiny's bay. Back to CP1 on debut. Dream Pursuer got back when he won, and Seizing the Moment will go back from a wide draw.
Did wonder where you're going there with Silver Destiny. We'll just prove even further that he's a bay in a moment because he's in replay number 3. Seizing the Moment, though, Paulie is a course and distance winner. James McDonald in town to ride notably Lucky Swainess, but he's one of the support rides too.
I think he'll be running on strongly here. Look, his last win was off 70. He's down to a 60 rating. This is his second start back in Class 4. The one that we see here, this is his first start, and he runs behind a real promising horse, and Chateau Neuf does Seizing the Moment. So in the right grade here, a well-rated horse, just drawn a little bit awkwardly in 10, but he goes in the numbers for me.
He carries the same weight, had 135 pounds on his back in that replay. Good debut from Aero Invincible. He ends up running second in this race. He went off at 15 to 1. 2 good draws at his first 2 starts. 1 and 1. Loyal Bobo wins the race. The horse outside him is also in this field. Ballistic Win. He would sharply need to improve.
He got held up and lost momentum, this horse, sort of into the straight. Now, they went really quick, Loyal Bobo as well, and he was sort of forward in the run. So he was entitled to run on here, and you can see him getting into the clear. He finished off the race really strongly. Ballistic Win, again, he got a bit tired late, but I don't think he's the worst of hopes as well. He doesn't go in for me in this one, but you can see Aero Invincible finishing off really strongly, and I think he can go one better. He's improved since that run.
Enjoy a Spring, who ran third in that race, likely to line up at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Now, here's your bay, Silver Destiny, so here's the proof that he's not grey. Hasn't been too far away behind James Tack and Hong Kong Hall in his only 2 starts.
Yeah, they've both been really good, and he steps up from the 12 to 1400 metres. He's bred for a lot further, so the 1400 I think is ideal for this horse. Yeah, he caught me out on debut because I was looking for a silver horse, and obviously he isn't. But look, a really nice run from him, and he's had the 2 runs now, and I think he can go on with it. So look, I'm going to include him. I think the 1400 metres looks ideal for him.
There you go. You've got the wrap up on the first, and Karis Teaton rides him for dinner ship. So silver becomes gold in race number 4.
Yeah, well, I've got him in for second actually.
Oh, okay, so he stays silver.
So he does stay silver, but Arrow Invincible to beat him. So 5 to beat 9. Now, All Riches, really good run from him, fresh. He didn't really give it away, and he likes to go out the front, catch me if you can. His last win was off 55, and he's rated 52 at the moment, so he's well rated. And seizing the moment, another well-rated horse. 5961.
And that is race number 4. It's the first leg of the Triple Trio. Trophy race is race number 5. It is the running of the Lock Sing Tong Cup over the 1200 metres, and Star Club off a dashing third last time behind Wind Cheetah. Phoenix Light blinkers and tongue tie off. The hood goes on. Game Player Warrior and King Miles. They make their race day debuts here in Hong Kong. Both of them have had 4 trials. Lifeline Express, second start around a bend for him. Packing Prospect has the cheek pieces going on, and Compassion Super wears blinkers once again. Lifeline Express, massive talent go forward. Compassion Super gets a nice run, Paul.
Yeah, he should get a nice run in behind. Look, there's no real clear leader here. Verbia and King Miles are 2 first starters, so maybe they'll try and go on with it from their wide draws, but they're both drawn awkwardly. Massive Talent's led in the past. Give Me 5 should get a nice run, and so will Star Club.
Our first replay is from Sha Tin with Packing Prospect running third. He's just tucked in down there on the rail. Lifeline Express had a pretty tough run, and this was the horse's first go over 1200 metres. Do you have both or either of these 2 in?
I just wonder if they're going to go with Lifeline Express as whether they're going to push on with him, because, as you say, he had the hard run here. I'm not sure where he's going to totally end up. So, look, I didn't put him in, but I did put Packing Prospect in. Look, he hit the line nicely here. Had cheek pieces will go on him for the first time. He's just drawn a little bit trickily in barrier number 8, but you can see the way he finishes off strongly. So if he does go back, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing.
And that's our first replay. The second one is Star Club. This was a massive performance. He ends up running third from well back in the field. Not too much wrong either with the run of Glory Elite. He runs 5th, somewhat perhaps overshadowed by the good performance of Star Club in this replay.
Yeah, I think these 2 horses can quinella it, actually. They've both come out of this strong form race. You can see being held up there, Star Club, and then he goes back to the inside to get the run. Glory Elite finishes off nice and strongly on his debut run. He's drawn well in barrier number 3. So once Star Club got balanced up there, he finished off really nicely for that. It was very eye-catching, wasn't it? So I think he can win it.
He was flying home, that is for sure. Now the first starters, a couple of them. We'll go with King Miles first of all. He runs second in this trial behind Chili Barber, and he's had the 4 trials, won 2 of them and ran second in the other couple.
Yeah, so look, he's trialled okay. He was quite an expensive yearling, 500,000 when he did go through, or the ready to run, I should say. But I worry about barrier 12 for him on debut. He's by Exceed and Excel out of a more than ready mare. So they really run pretty well on the surface. So it was a nice enough trial, but I'm happy to watch him on debut.
Okay, so no King Miles for Paul from that wide draw. And on the turf, and the other first starter we're going to look at is Verbier, who is pushed out to win this trial, beats the Azure. He's had 3, ran 5th in the other one behind Gale Saga, and he was hard ridden. His first trial was actually quite good behind Draco when he missed the start and went to the line under a hole. But what did you make of this trial from him?
Look, he, as you say, he was pushed out, and this was a lower class trial as well. So, look, I'm another one I'm happy just to watch on his debut. Look, you can see him being pushed out here as well. So we'll see what happens on race day. But I think there's some better credentialed horses in this that are a bit more forward in condition.
So, judging by those last 2 replays, it's the raced ones, the one to beat, especially Star Club.
Yeah, I think Star Club, look, he really caught the eye with that run at his last start. Glory Elite coming out of the same race. Now, Give Me 5, I'm going to put him in. He ran 5th on debut. He finished alongside Silver Destiny in a race we saw in the previous. So, if you want to see the replay there, and then Packing Prospect in there for 4th. 1, 6, 5 and 10.
And that is race number 5. It's the preview of the first leg of 6 Up. We're on to race number 6 on the preview, the race-by-race preview for Sha Tin Sunday, and it's a 1400 metre Class 4. Forever Charm is on the Class Drop. Voyage Samurai, a debut winner, carries an extra £6. Ariel gets a £10 claim this week. Happy Daily, a 3-time course and distance winner. Patch of Theta has his first start over the 1400 metres. Riverviews has had a quiet trial since his last start. Shinkansen comes to Sha Tin for the 4th time. And Smart Folks has the hood going on. He was scratched on the 12th of February after getting fractious in the gates. Voyage Samurai and Riverviews up front here, Paul, but horses like Ariel and Smart Folks also can show plenty of early pace.
Yeah, so it's going to be good speed in this race. Compassion Spirit likewise. So any one of those 5. But Voyage Samurai led on debut and led all the way. He's drawn 6. I think he can probably cross Smart Folks. Riverviews will come across from a wider draw, and Ariel won't be far away. I mean, Ariel could possibly lead with a £10 claim as well.
Tom is back first of all for this one with an interview for the trainer for the toppy, Forever Charm. It's Mark Newnham.
Mark, Forever Charm lining up in race number 6. He's having his 4th run here in Hong Kong. He looks a relatively big horse. How's he settled into the Hong Kong way of going?
Yeah, look, I was really happy with his first run. Probably just found the ground a little bit firm and just probably needed a couple of runs to adjust to the pace and the firmness of the tracks here. But I was really pleased with his last trial. Something positive from him even out of the gate, and was strong all the way to the line. So he's going well. What is against us is where he's drawn on Sunday.
What do you look to maybe do from that draw? Because obviously he led up in that barrier trial, but that could be difficult this weekend from barrier 14 to use all that energy.
Yeah, look, I'll have a good look at the form in the next day and then decide, where he's best placed in running. But yeah, it certainly poses a few difficulties for him.
Do you think he's sort of found about his right mark now down in Class 4 as well?
Oh, look, I think so. I think he could probably progress upwards once, he's had a few more runs here. But he's always a horse I've liked. I had him in training in Australia as well. So look, he's certainly got enough talent, but it's just finding his right range here is probably what we need to do.
That was Lucky Planet running second in that trial, and he was placed at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Off we go to a perfect start for this horse, Paul. Voyage Samurai made it 1 for 1. He started at 8.3 in the market. Golden Rise runs 5th. Also have Smiling Collector, who's very, very hard to catch, and Happy Daily in this replay.
Yes, I've left those 2 out, but look, I'm going to put Voyage Samurai in. It was a good debut run from him. And he got no pressure, though. That was one thing. He's going to get pressure in this race because there's 2 or 3 others that like to lead. Golden Rise, now, he's been racing very well. He's only had the 6 starts to date. He's got James McDonald from a good draw, barrier number 5, so he goes in as well. But Voyage Samurai, he just kept kicking, but I just wonder if he'll be a little bit more softened up in this race.
All right, we'll find out, but he hangs on and wins that. It was back on the 12th of February, that win. Next replay features Master Tornado running 8th, and Ariel, who leads. As we saw on your speed map, though, he might have to take a trail this week. Does carry a lot less weight, but he's still yet to win in 20 starts.
Yeah, £10 claim. So, look, if he does want to lead, he just might ruin it for some of those horses in front, including Voyage Samurai as such. So, look, I've left him out for that reason. And Master Tornado, I thought the run was okay, but he's drawn 10, so none of these go in.
All right, that replay is just going to run through to the end, and we'll save that replay and that form for another day. Our last one, Patch of Theta. Imagine he's in your selection somewhere, Paul. He's done everything so far other than win a race.
3 wide all the way in this race. Came around the bend 5 or 6 wide. His last 3 starts, he's drawn 9, 10 and 12. He's drawn barrier number 4. He's going to get the perfect run from barrier number 4, and I think he can just win this race. By Zoostar, he's been placed in all 4 starts here with absolutely no luck, and you can see he got way far back here, and Partia sort of set up slow sectionals and led all the way, so it was a fantastic run from him.
It was. There you go. There's your guide for race number 6.
Yeah, he's on top, I think, prior to Theta. He might come up a bit short, but I think he'll win. From Golden Rise, Voyage Samurai, and we heard from Mark Newnham, Forever Charm, the downgrader. 7, 3, 2, 1.
Hugh Bowman, Francis Loy for Paul to win race number 6 with Patch of Theta. You know, race 7's big. because it's got its own graphic behind us. It's the second leg of the Hong Kong Speed Series, the Queen's Silver Jubilee, and Lucky Swainess headlines the race at 4:05, unbeaten over the 1400 metres. California Spangle has the cheek pieces off. Beauty Joy is minus the hood. Lucky With You goes to the 1400 metres once again. Healthy Happy, he's won 5 times or 3 times over the trip. Taj Dragon's won 5 times course and distance. Red Lion, he also has won 5 times over the 1400. 7-day backup for Galaxy Patch and the blinkers are off. California Spangle, Beauty Eternal, Healthy Happy. Do you think they might try and push on and loop Beauty Eternal with him at some stage, Paul?
They could do. I think what Healthy Happy's really going to try and push on and get outside California Spangle, which will put that race pace into the race, as you say. But Beauty Eternal, I don't think Zach's going to make it easy for anyone. He's just going to sit there and try and boss the race from just outside the lead.
And to explain a little bit more about that bossing, here is Zach with Tom.
Zach, Beauty Eternal going into the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup at the weekend, of course beaten by Voyage Bubble last time out, but what was your overall assessment of his run in the mile last time out?
Very good. Voyage Bubble's obviously an emerging horse here in Hong Kong, and it was no disgrace to run second to him. We know the mile is on the outer limits of his capabilities, and he was up for the fight and for as long as he could, and then just the class difference probably told in the end.
A couple of trials recently, have you been happy with those?
Yeah, he doesn't do anything flash on the all-weather. He just gets out there and it's just ticking him over. As long as his action's good and he pulls up well, which has been the case.
What about back to 1400 metres this week? That's clearly been one of his pet distances. Do you believe that is where he is best effective at, 1400?
Yeah, I think so. So this is his chance. He's drawn a reasonable gate, so hopefully he just gets the right run, and it's not going to be easy going up against Lucky Swainess. So he's going to have to be at his very best to be competitive there, but he gets his chance.
You're always well versed on all of the runners that you're competing against, but you do know Lucky Swainess particularly well, a horse you've always spoken highly of. Firstly, what do you think ultimately led Connections to having a change this time round?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask them that. Apparently I'm unlucky on the horse.
The tempo of the race ultimately played out against him last time out, but it was still a massive run on what he was able to produce the last 400 metres.
Yeah, it was. Listen, he's had a lot of racing in the last year, and sometimes he can be a bit slow out the gates, and when he's racing against 6 horses, it's not the biggest problem in the world, but when you've got 13 other horses and they all get in front of you and then they run outside of standard for the first and second sectionals, and you're stuck behind 8 horses, there's just nothing you can do in that scenario. So that was unfortunately the way it played out for him, and he'll be better placed here up in trip, which I think he's been looking for a while, and in a smaller field.
You've always made your affection known for the horse, and you're obviously not going to pot him talking to me now, but where do you feel he's at the moment? Because from an outsider looking in, he doesn't look quite like he's racing sort of up to maybe some of his figures from last season.
Listen, he's just taken a little bit of time to get back to where he needed to get to fitness-wise, and he's just lost a bit more of that gate speed. So he can't get into the positions that he was able to get into last season as comfortably, and because of that he's getting a bit further back in the field. But he's just felt like he's wanted further for quite some time now, and I think the step up in distance is going to be a huge asset for him.
Your horse Beauty Eternal facing him this week at 1400 metres, do you think he's got the goods to beat him this week?
Listen, if you look at figures and ratings, Lucky Swainess has got him covered. So Beauty Eternal is going to have to find something, but he gets to his best distance and he gets his chance.
There is Zach talking at Beauty Eternal. We're going to move on to more feature racing here, Paul, for our first replay. It is the Centenary Sprint Cup. This was over the 1200 metres, of course, and those backing up out of this race are Lucky With You, Sonpak Fu. We've also got Lucky Swainess and Taj Dragon in this replay. So he goes back Taj Dragon. Sonpak Fu gets into 4th. Lucky With You, he steps up to the 1400. He's Group 1 placed at his last 2 over the 1200. And Lucky Swainess, as we'll see, is actually in 2nd, not too far past the post. So you can patrol them around the first turn.
Well, Victor the Winner walked this race, so so none of these horses had the race run to suit. Lucky With You was sort of 3 wide. He finished off strongly for second. So, look, he's going really well, this horse, at the moment. So he's going to go in. Taj Dragon, 1400 looks ideal for him. And Lucky Sweynesse, he finished off with one of the fastest sectionals in the race. So he's unbeaten over 1400 metres, and it looks absolutely ideal for Lucky Sweynesse.
All right, so we turn for home, and Victor the Winner still getting that good run in front. The sectionals 24.3, 22.95 and 22.18. Lucky Sweynesse ends up breaking 22 for the last 400 as the leader kicks away. Victor the Winner at the 300 metre mark. Wellington's on the outside. Lucky With You just has had 2 really good runs in this group company. And then Sonpak, when you can see Lucky Sweynesse, Taj Dragon just getting out now. But Victor the Winner just keeps lifting here, Paul, under Derek Long. That's almost good enough to send him to Japan, that run.
Yeah, it is. And one thing you did notice here, Taj Dragon did finish alongside Lucky Sweynesse. Good commentary there, mate.
Oh, we had to make it something. Lucky Sweynesse has been back to the trials too. This was on the all-weather, this one. He runs second behind Solar Up. He comes from about 4 or 5 lengths back in the field and is under a good hold. They've got 110.73 for the 1200.
Yeah, good maintenance trial here from Lucky Sweynesse. He did what he had to do. He wasn't let go. We know the 1400 metres is probably his best distance, actually, because he is unbeaten over it. Even though the 1200, he's got all that mark as well. Just now he's a bit older. The 1400 metres looks good for him. So he just did what he had to do there.
Matthew Poon aboard him that morning. Our next replay is Red Lion, who comes up out of Class 1 racing. He wins this race impressively with the horse Mugen on his outside, also a progressive horse. But would you consider this pair Group 1 company just yet?
No. Look, he's rated 105. You're up against, on set weights, horses like Lucky Sweynesse, 125, Beauty Eternal, 116. So as far as the handicap's concerned, look, he's quite well exposed, Red Lion. We know he's a very good horse, but is he up to this grade at this stage? No, I don't think he is.
OK, we'll wait till he gets into something a little bit easier. And then the unorthodox preparation for Galaxy Patch. Never raced over 1400 metres, and until 7 days ago from Sunday, he'd never raced over the 1000.
No, and they brought him back to the 1000. Look, I think they did this to get him to settle over the 1400 metres, to give him a decent hit out, because look, he can sometimes pull over the 1200. If he does that over the 1400 metres, he's going to ruin his chance. So I've left him out, stepping up here for the first time, 1400. Look, he finishes off nicely enough. He is a young up-and-coming horse, there's no question, but I don't know if he's quite ready at this stage of his preparation for this race.
Blinkers come off following that run too for this assignment. Does Lucky Sweynesse hit back?
I think he does. 1400 metres looks ideal, 3 from 3, and he's the class horse in the race. I think the Beauty of Channel will give him a race, but they stand out clearly for me. 1 to beat 3. Lucky With You's been in good form this season, and Taj Dragon up and coming, 1-3-5-7.
It is all the odd numbers there, but Lucky Sweynesse to go back to back and win the Queen Silver Jubilee. Back to the top of the home straight for race number 8. It's a 1,000 metre straight race upcoming here, and we've got Flying High, who's a 4-time course and distance winner. Viva Chaleur has a new home. He's now with Pierre Rong. Pacifies with Calzong. Tongue Tie goes off. Sparkling Night wears cheek pieces for the first time. Gracious Express on debut has had the 4 trials. That's in Hong Kong. Likewise, Youthful Spirits, but he's only had the 3 trials. Prince of Porty's coming back to the 1,000. And Ruby Lot has a first and a third in his last 2 goes down the straights. Cheval Valiant Paul always hikes along over the 1,000.
Likes to lead, doesn't he? Look, Baby Chris will go forward. Gracious Express has led in his trials, so he won't be far away, as so is Youthful Spirits. So there's going to be a bit of pace in this race. James Tack likes to race handily. Flying High is always never too far away. Stellar Express wasn't too far away in his debut run as well. Ruby Lot gets back. Prince of Porty gets back. Viva Schleur's back in trip. I think he'll be back at the wrap.
Zach Burton joins us again right now to talk about Stellar Express.
Stellar Express lining up down the straight. You weren't on board for his first up run, but you've no doubt watched the replay. What was your sort of assessment on his first up outing?
It was a good effort. He did everything right. He was in the right spot. He presented at the right time. It was a very good run. I've been on him in some trials early in his career, and then obviously the one recently as well. And he seems as if he's come on, so he's going to be competitive again.
A couple little side questions regarding that race as well. The straight course here at Sha Tin, is it still beneficial to be drawn high, or is that not much or not as much of a factor as it has been in previous years?
It depends where the false rail is. If the false rail is up, then the track becomes more even. If the false rail is down, then of course it's always an advantage to be on the outside fence.
Another question maybe about the slow times and some of the race that we've seen not only run here at Sha Tin and Happy Valley recently. What are some of the contributing factors to that? We've seen some really slow first sectionals, so that's obviously one of them, but is the track riding differently at the moment? Are the tracks riding differently at the moment?
Yeah, for sure they are. To me, they feel like they're a lot wetter than what they have been previously. They're holding a lot more moisture, so whether there's more water getting put on the track or whether it's the conditions of the weather that we've had this season, I'm not sure, but the tracks have certainly been softer. The horses have been getting into it. The track's a little bit more. It's creating a lot of biases as well. Sometimes you go to the races and you can't make up ground, you've got to be forward, or you've got to be inside, or the inside's off, you've got to be outside. And, you know, I always feel these tracks in Hong Kong race best when they're bone dry, and that's reflective in the times as well. I know in some of the races we've lacked a little bit of speed. There hasn't been as much pressure, but the overall times, and they're just outside of standard all the time. It doesn't matter how fast it feels like you're going along in the race, they're still outside of standard. So I think the tracks are just a little bit too soft at the moment.
There is Zach. As we move on, Paul, to Atomic Energy running third and Heroic Master. This, of course, over at Happy Valley last time. Heroic Master's very consistent round the 1,000. He has been to Sha Tin before and plays down the straight, whereas Atomic Energy's best form at this stage is still at the Valley.
Actually prefer both of them at the Valley, even though Heroic Master has had that one run and has been placed. He's drawn inside, he's drawn barrier number 4, so he's got to overcome that. I know he's a very good horse. Both these two are good horses around the Valley, but there's some really good proven straight 1,000 metres in this race.
Wednesday night for that pair. James Tack, he is proven down the straight over 1,000 metres. This is his last win over the 1,200 metres. He comes up in grade for the first time. Jerry Chow unbeaten on the horse. 4
starts for 2 wins for the horse in Hong Kong. You can see he couldn't get out there and he had to go back to the inside, and he was quite brave, the horse. He took the gap, although it did open reasonably wide there, but he did take that gap and came out and won this race really nicely. He's a horse going well at the moment. He stepped up from the 1,000 to this 1,200. He's going back to the 1,000. But look, I'm going to include him up in grey.
Gracious Express, a first starter in Hong Kong. He's had the 4 trials. He wins over 1,200 at Windsor, Wolverhampton and the Newmarket July course. Has he done enough? His trials have looked okay, but enough on debut in a pretty strong field.
Yeah, I think he's had a strong field here. Sometimes these British horses do just take a little while to acclimatise as well. He seems to have adapted reasonably well, but as you say, his form has been over the 1,200 on stiff tracks in the UK. So here over the straight 1,000, I'm just happy to watch him.
Okay, we'll wait for another day for him and perhaps when he steps up in trip as he goes to the line there to win up at Chung Fa. It's a good field, and who do you like?
Going to go with Stellar Express. I think he's come on for that debut run. It was a good run from him. He's on top. Prince of Porty, now he's won down the straight 1,000 and he hits the line strongly. Was a little bit unlucky last time he was here as well. James Tack and Ruby Lots found a new lease of life down the straight 1,000. He's going to get the pace. Prince of Porty and Ruby Lot will get back, and they're going to get the pace to suit in this race, so that's why I put them in 4, 13, 8 and 14.
That is race number 8. It is the first leg of the late treble. Ninth race is the South Wall Handicap, and the distance of this one is 1,800 metres. Super Sunny Singh, last start winner, carries an extra £3. Class drops for 5G Patch, Happy Together, Running Glory, Champion Dragon, La City Blanche and Tourbillon Diamond. Tourbillon Diamond is a 2-time course and distance winner. Rising from Ashes, 1 for 1 over the 1,800 at Sha Tin. Alacrity pacifiers with Cowls come off. CP Brave has won 2 from his last 3. Both those wins have been 1,800 metres at Sha Tin. Natural Storm is a last start winner, but he's coming back from the 2,000 metres. Champion Dragon, Sweet Encounter, they go forward around CP Brave, Paul.
Yeah, look, all those three have drawn a little bit wide, but there's a long run to that first bend, and they're the horses that like to race on the pace. So I think Champion Dragon get a really easy lead here. When he gets across, he's got James McDonald aboard, and he should get across from barrier 13. On the other end, Lastly Blanche goes back, 5G Patch goes back to Best Peach, and also Super Sunny Singh might have to go back from his wide draw. He's been a little bit slow out in the starts too.
He has, but it was a return to form, and this was one of those races where he was slow out, thus he's at the back turning for home. Sweet Encounter sat up outside of Talabagil in this race. Spirited Express between them, Paul's under a hard ride, but would have pleased Chris So this win with Super Sunny Singh returning to form.
Yeah, small field, and as such, he got away with the start in the small field. Look, he's in a bigger field now and he's got to carry the top weight, so that's just a little bit of a concern for me. Sweet Encounter, look, he was on the pace. I thought he had his opportunity. He'd been getting back in his races and had been running well. So, I mean, there's the option there. They finished across the line in this, all six. There was, half a length from over the field. So, I'm not sure what sort of form race it is going to be.
A very close finish there. Now, we go back to Happy Valley with Happy Together running second here. We're just going to have a look at the start down to the winning post, and you can see from barrier number 3 that he was slow out of the gates. Rising from Ashes, he ends up running 5th, and the other one in this field has been a very busy last, City Blanche, who runs 6th. But Happy Together, Paul, at his last 2 starts, he's got a 7 next to his name from 2 runs ago where nothing went right, and then ends up running second here behind Mr. Ascendancy, of course, who has won since on the all-weather and beat Telecom Fighters.
Yeah, look, he recovered well enough, and he got an easy enough run in the end. Happy Together. Drawn barrier number 2, he should get a nice enough run once again. He won't be too far off the pace. So, look, he goes in for me. I think he can bounce back coming up here over the 1,800 metres. He has won over the 1,800, albeit at Happy Valley.
And Alexi Bedell gets on very, very well with him. Off we go to the all-weather for racing now, and Alacrity runs 3rd in this race. He is switching back to the turf. He has won course and distance. That was off a rating of 78, runs off a rating of 85, and Zach stays on board.
Yeah, so he's got Zach aboard, drawn nicely in barrier number 3. They have been running him a little bit closer to the pace. He's mixing his distances a bit. Did run 5th over 1,400, so up to the 1,800 metres should suit him.
That is a good report for Alacrity. There is that race that Mr. Ascendancy and Telecom Fighters ran 1-2 in, so they've figured in our last couple of replays. This last one, before we look at some track work, is an upset. Natural Storm. He hadn't been able to do anything over 2,000 metres until this race. CP Brave is racing well. And the Best Peach, he's near enough to last, turning for home. He runs home. He ends up running 8th, but makes ground.
He does. So, look, he's been going well recently. Comes in with a lightweight. CP Brave has been racing really well this season. I think when he's won his races, has been a lot closer than he was. Just the way the circumstances of this race panned out, he got too far back. Look, I think he's going to be a lot closer in the run, so I think he's definitely a chance.
And that is Ensued, who's run second in that race. He, of course, finished a little bit behind the first 2, but not too far away in the Classic Cup last week. You've spotted Champion Dragon at the track work.
Look, his track work's been good, and I think he looks the leader in the race. If he can set up some slowish sectionals, he could stack this race up, and he could win it at a reasonable price. He's got James McDonald on, so we'll see what price he does come up.
RB rode him that morning, James McDonald, to steer him on race day.
He will, yeah. So he'll be riding him on race day. And I think I'll take a chance with him from the front. He'll be out of trouble. Happy Together, CP Brave. And if they do go too fast, then the Best Peach will be the one finishing off the strongest. 5, 3, 12, 11.
Win and place all day for Champion Dragon and Paul in race number 9. Race number 10, Paul's very excited about this race, not because it's the last, it's because the horse he's been waiting for a long, long time appears in this, since his first start anyway. Talent's Ambition is his name. Universal Horizon at the top of the book. Jerry Chow takes a £2 claim after that last start win. Illuminous has the blinkers off, the visor going on. Giddy Up, a last start winner, carries an extra £8 for it. Master of Fortune is a 3-time course and distance winner. Young Brilliant has his first start since November. Beato, the blinkers off and the visor goes on, and Talent's Ambition, who ran 6th behind Giddy Up, beaten just 1 3/4 on debut, draws nicely in gate 2, Paul.
He does, so I think he can get a nice run, 3 back on the inside. Frantac is the one that does like to lead. Young Brilliant's gone forward, Giddy Up can get himself into a nice position from a good draw. Master of Fortune won't be too far away. Back to Beato, I think they'll go all the way back with him because he likes to be held up.
Here is the trainer of the grey, though, Talent's Ambition. It is Mark Newnham.
Interesting horse you've got lined up in the last race, Talent's Ambition. This horse here arrived with some Tamworth form. You must have been pretty encouraged by what you saw at Sha Tin a couple of weeks ago from him.
Yeah, look, I've liked this horse from the first day I saw him. I saw him win a maiden 2-year-old at Tamworth coming from last, and kept an eye on him after that. And the trainer, Cody Morgan, who trained him, I know him quite well, and I rang him and asked him if there was a chance to buy him, and we secured him, and I certainly haven't been disappointed since he arrived here. His trials were progressively better. His first run was very good, and he feels like he's come on again since then.
What about his gate speed? Of course, he did miss the kick in his first up run, and he missed the kick a little bit in his recent barrier trial. What can you try and do to maybe turn that around to get him out on an even keel with the rest of the field?
Yeah, look, he's a big horse, and it does take him a few strides to find his gears. But look, I think it's just experience. I mean, he came here as a horse that had only had one barrier trial and 2 starts in country New South Wales. And, you know, that's only his 3rd race start. So, look, that'll progressively get better. He's drawn low on Sunday anyway, so even if he's a neck to half a length slow away, he should be able to take up a midfield position, hopefully.
You happy with the way he's come on since that first run and his trial and his track work leading into Sunday?
Yeah, I wanted to give him a nice gap to get over that first run, and that was the reason, a month between runs and just a trial. But I had a ride on him this morning, just really happy the way he felt, and he just relaxed really nicely through the work. So he'll certainly appreciate the step up in distance.
Mark Newnham there. We don't need to go any further because Paul's going to be tipping this horse. Anyway, we'll try and find some that might run 2nd, 3rd, 4th or even 5th. Or in the case of this race, Paul, the horses are in 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th are all in this race. And Frantank, who's leading for home at this stage, ends up running 7th, beaten 3/4 of a length. It was one of the finishes of the season.
Yeah, it was a great finish. The two of them I'm going to take out of the Karma and Beato, the two that sort of coming down the outside here. They both finished off the race really nicely, very strongly. As you say, it was across the field there, wasn't it? With an upset with Universal Horizon winning it. But I do like those two on the outside. I think they're the two to take out of it. Frantank's been a little bit disappointing. He's taken a bit of money with him as well.
What a finish. The judge is still on stress leave after. Hasn't slept a wink since that finish. Young Brilliant's been to the Happy Valley Trials. He's behind Outgate turning for home. And judging by that reaction to him coming on the screen, Paul, he's not going in this week, but maybe somewhere down the track.
Yeah, like he's run 7th in his last 4 starts. And one of them was in a field of 8. He's sort of been out of form here. The leader ran away, didn't he, from him? Yeah, look, he doesn't go in for me.
All right, he hasn't raced for a while either. Young Brilliant, and his best form is not in his 1st and 2nd up starts. He's not in.
No. I'm going to go with, I made Talent's Ambition the long shot on debut, and we saw that run. It was really good. So I'll stick with him, Karma, Beato, and Giddy Up's the last start winner. He goes in there for 4th. 13, 5, 11 and 4.
And there it is. All of the information for Sha Tin on Sunday. Seacourse Racing with the first at 1 o'clock.